Welcome, brave soul. I am the forgotten storyteller. Before we begin, tap that like button if you dare, and drop a comment below telling me where in the world you're listening from. And if you make it to the end of this video, I hope to see you in the next story. I hope you're ready, because I am. Let's begin. There are some voices you should never hear. Not because they're loud, not because they're angry, but because they don't belong to anyone who's alive. You see, once a voice crosses that boundary between breath and silence, it brings something with it. Something that clings to you like cold smoke. And no matter how hard you try, you can't ever get it out of your head. Our story today begins at 12:17 a.m. inside a low-lit room humming with machines and flickering monitors. The Metro County 911 Dispatch Center. It's the kind of place that lives in the margins of the night, where voices appear from the dark, scream for help, and then vanish, leaving you with nothing but the echo. And Derek Holloway has learned to live with echoes. Derek's been at this job for more than 20 years, is divorced and worn down. He's seen enough midnight tragedies to know that horror isn't loud, it's quiet. It's the silence after the scream that'll kill you. The room around him is lit by the pale glow of 6 monitors. A stale pot of coffee cools at his elbow. Rain patters against the tall windows of the center, streaking down like veins. The other dispatcher on duty, young kid maybe 20, is dozing behind his screen, headphones dangling around his neck. And then Derek hears it again. That static. It's soft and almost polite. But it's there, threaded into the hiss of the overhead speakers, faintly, like a whisper trapped inside a seashell. Only ever on line 3. It's been there for weeks. Not constant, just enough to make him check his headset, adjust his cables, and wonder if maybe, just maybe, it's not the equipment. He's mid-thought when the light on line 3 blinks on. The clock above the switchboard reads 3 minutes and 17 seconds. Derek clicks in, puts on the headset. 911, what's your emergency? At first, nothing. Just breathing, quite fast, wet with panic, and then a voice. Please, he's here. The voice belongs to a woman, quaking as if every word is a struggle. Ma'am, slow down. Who's there? Derek asks, pen poised over the incident log. My daughter. The woman chokes on her words. She's talking in his voice again. My father's voice. He's not gone. Derek's pen stops. His eyes flick to the monitor displaying caller data. Name, Lena Reyes. Address, an old condemned apartment complex in the industrial district. Static rises faintly in Derek's earpiece. Beneath it, something new, a low humming. Childlike but pitched impossibly deep. A lullaby twisted into something funeral. Ma'am, is your daughter with you now? Derek asks. Yes, Lena says, her voice breaking. She's watching me from the hallway. The humming grows louder. Derek swallows. Okay, ma'am. Can you tell me? She's smiling, Lena interrupts. She's smiling with his teeth. Derek signals the other dispatcher to trace and dispatch units to the address. His pulse is up now, but he forces his voice to stay calm. Help is on the way, ma'am. Stay on the line with me. The humming stops. A different voice enters the line. A child's voice, but it low, guttural, and soaked in a wrongness that makes the hair on Derek's arms rise. You're next, Derek. Derek freezes. His hand tightens on the receiver. He never gave his name. And then the call cuts off. When police reach the apartment, it's empty. No Lena. No child. No sign of a struggle. Except on the living room floor, Mia's stuffed animals are arranged in a perfect circle, their button eyes facing inward. In the center, a small, old-fashioned tape recorder. It's playing a loop of distorted fire sirens, warped and echoing. The timestamp on the call log in Derek's system is frozen, locked at 3 minutes and 17 seconds. Back at the center, Derek replays the recording. He leans in close, every muscle tense. The voice, the deep one, doesn't sound layered, doesn't sound artificial. Audio analysis confirms it, one vocal source from a child's throat. And there's something worse. Derek realizes the deep voice called him by name before he ever spoke it. That night, Derek drives home through the rain with the sound of that voice living in the back of his skull. Every flash of lightning throws shadows against the dashboard. By the time he reaches his apartment, he's convinced the static has followed him. And maybe it has. The first time Derek hears it outside of work, he's in his kitchen pouring coffee. His landline rings, no caller ID. He picks up. Silence. Then the faintest click. The kind you hear when someone else has joined the line. And beneath it, the same static hiss from line 3. He hangs up. Moments later, his answering machine plays back a message from his own daughter. except the words are wrong. It's her voice, yes, but slow, stretched, distorted. "You're not listening, are you? He's coming through?" The next day, Derek pulls Lena's file. Captain Manuel Reyes, Lena's father, firefighter, died in a warehouse fire 10 years ago. The same fire that killed Derek's rookie partner. The same fire Derek has never forgiven himself for. Coincidence? Or is someone dragging the dead back into the light for a reason? That night, Derek can't sleep. He wakes at 3:17 a.m. to find his bedroom phone off the hook, the dial tone hissing. In the dim light, the red line active indicator blinks 3 times, then stops. The following afternoon, a detective drops off footage from the security cameras at Lena's building. Derek leans over the grainy black and white playback. The hallway outside Lena's apartment is empty, and then Mia steps into frame. She's barefoot and just stands still. Her mouth moves, but there's no sound. For 7 seconds, she stands like that. Then, suddenly, audio cuts in. "Tell Derek. The line is open." The footage freezes. The timestamp, again, reads 3 minutes and 17 seconds. And it never changes. Derek's next move is reckless. He drives to the burned-out warehouse where Captain Reyes and his partner died. The place is a skeletal ruin, black beams jutting against a sky swollen with storm clouds. In the middle of the empty floor stands a single, still-functioning payphone. It rings. Derek picks it up. "Mia?" he says before he can stop himself. There is a slight pause. Then a child's voice, low and resonant, "Daddy's coming home." Derek turns. Mia is standing 10 feet behind him. Her eyes are black from lid to lid. Her mouth curls into a smile, but it's too wide. The teeth too many. He blinks and she's gone. Derek doesn't tell anyone. Who would believe it? But the static follows him now. It's in his radio, in his TV, in the pipes of his building when the water runs. And some nights, his phone auto-dials 911 while he's asleep. When he plays back the call logs, he hears his own voice, describing events that haven't happened yet. "You can't hang up on a dead man." The words have been whispering at the edges of Derek's dreams for nights now, layered under the hiss of rain and the slow tick of his kitchen clock. They sound like his own thoughts, but in a voice that isn't his. Our story today moves forward into the week after that night at the warehouse, and Derek has begun to notice the rules of whatever is stalking him. It only ever makes contact at 3 minutes and 17 seconds. The static is always a precursor, and when the voice finally comes through, it always knows his name. Derek tries to keep it professional at work, but it's no good. The other dispatchers notice the way he flinches when line 3 lights up. He's jumpier now, scanning the room like someone is watching from just beyond the monitors. The night before his suspension, he's alone in the center during a thunderstorm. The power surges, just for a second, and all the lines go dead. Except line 3. It blinks, slow and patient. Derek answers. At first, it's nothing but heavy breathing. Then Lena's voice trembling. "Don't let him take you through the wires, Derek." He rides the signal. He's been calling through every voice that's ever screamed into a phone. Derek tightens his grip on the handset. "Where are you?" Silence. Then the deep child voice slides into the line. "We've been waiting for you, operator." The call ends with the crackle of an old radio cutting to dead air. The next day, Derek finds himself staring at his own reflection in the bathroom mirror. Something is wrong. His lips move slightly, but he isn't speaking. He leans closer. The movement continues, slow and deliberate, like someone mouthing words just behind his skin. He turns away, slamming the light off. Against his better judgment, Derek drives back to Lena's old apartment building. Police tape hangs limp across the doorway, swaying in the wind. The inside smells like damp plaster and rust. The circle of stuffed animals is gone. But in the center of the floor, etched into the wood, is a new message. 3 minutes and 17 seconds. Call accepted. His phone buzzes in his pocket. No signal bars. No network. But the screen shows an active call. The timer runs, 3 minutes and 17 seconds. He lifts the phone to his ear. 3 words, whispered deep and final. "We're closer now." He hangs up and bolts from the building, but the word follows him. In the hum of the car engine. In the static between radio stations. In the gusts of wind against the windshield. By the time he gets home, he's sweating and shaking. He locks his door. Draws the curtains. But at 3:17 a.m., his landline rings again. Derek answers without speaking. This time it's not Lena. It's Captain Reyes. His voice is unmistakable. Derek heard it once before, years ago, shouting for help over the fire radio as the warehouse collapsed. But now it's warped and broken, chopped like a bad signal. You left me in the dark, Derek, but I found a way out. Through the wires, through the lines. Every scream leaves a crack. I've been calling. The line distorts, flares with static. And now, you'll answer. Derek drops the phone. It doesn't break. It doesn't even stop the call. The voice keeps speaking from the receiver on the floor. In the background, a second voice joins in, Mia's, but it speaks in perfect unison with Captain Reyes, syllable for syllable. He kicks the phone away like it's a snake. It slides under the couch, still murmuring. The next morning, Derek's called into the supervisor's office. They've reviewed the security footage from the dispatch center. They want to know why he sat, frozen, for 13 minutes during his shift, headset on, staring at the far wall. Derek insists he was on an active emergency call. They tell him the logs show no call came in. Except one entry. Incoming call, 3 minutes and 17 seconds. Duration, 1324. No origin number. He's put on leave for psychological evaluation. But the truth? Derek knows this thing wants him alone. It wants no one else listening. And it's working. On the 10th anniversary of the fire, Derek drives back to the warehouse. The storm has rolled in again, lightning jagging across the sky. Inside, the payphone still stands, waiting. Then it rings, he answers. Lena's voice, frantic. You can't stop it, Derek. The wires, they're veins now. Every call you ever took, every cry for help, you kept them alive for him. He's inside them. The line crackles, distorts, and then Captain Reyes speaks. Step into the signal. Derek's vision blurs. The storm outside flickers in sync with his heartbeat. Every monitor in the center, though he isn't there, flares across his mind. He sees them, feels the hum of the switchboard. In the storm's roar, voices spill into his head. All the voices of every call he's ever taken, begging him, screaming, dying. And under them all, one steady, inescapable voice. This line is now active. Derek's mouth moves. He doesn't feel it. The payphone's receiver is slick in his hand. He's speaking, but the sound is coming from somewhere else, broadcast across the empty warehouse. His own voice, deeper, reverberating. Help us. He tries to drop the phone, but his hand won't obey. His other hand begins dialing numbers without his consent. Lightning floods the building with white light. Every reflective surface, broken glass, standing puddles, shows Derek's face, but the mouth is moving out of sync. The storm's wind howls through the ruined warehouse, rattling loose sheets of metal in the rafters like distant applause. Derek's body feels heavy, weighted in place, his fingertips numb where they cling to the payphone receiver. The line hisses in his ear, no longer just static but the sound of breath moving through miles of empty wire. He feels it crawling up the bones in his arm, into his shoulder, coiling behind his ribs. Captain Reyes is no longer speaking to Derek. He is speaking through him. Do you know what it's like to die in the middle of a sentence? To have your last breath caught in a wire, looping forever? You hung up on me, Derek. But I never hung up on you. Lightning splinters through the cracked roof, illuminating shapes in the shadows. Tall, human silhouettes blurred at the edges, their faces featureless except for open mouths, whispering. Derek's free hand rises to his headset instinctively, even though he's not at his station. He can hear the dispatcher's room in his head, the buzz of monitors, the hum of fluorescent lights. And then, he hears himself answer a call he hasn't yet taken. 911, what's your emergency? The reply is a layered chorus of the dead. Operator, help us, step into the signal. The voices swell, distorting, until it feels like they're vibrating the metal walls around him. The payphone cord twists tighter in his grip, impossibly taut, like it's pulling him in. He tries to step back, but the floor feels elastic, soft, like he's standing on a membrane. Every movement sends ripples through it, and from somewhere beneath, something massive stirs. When the lightning flashes again, the puddles on the warehouse floor don't reflect the ceiling. They reflect the dispatch center. The rows of desks. The screens. Line 3 blinking, patient and waiting. And in the reflection, Derek is already sitting there. Headset on. Eyes black. The payphone goes dead. Not silent. Dead, like the absence of sound is a weight pressing against his eardrums. He drops the receiver, but it swings back, hitting the cradle with a click that sounds exactly like a line connecting. Somewhere in that click, Derek's heart stops feeling like his own. When the storm breaks, the warehouse is empty. No phone. No Derek. Just the smell of burned wires and rainwater pooling on the concrete. But at 6 a.m. in the Metro County Dispatch Center, a new shift begins. A young woman, early 20s, bright-eyed, fresh out of training, takes her seat at Derek's old station. She notices the headset is still warm as though someone just left. The room is quiet, save for the soft hum of the switchboard. The phone rings. Line 3. She answers, 911, what's your emergency? Silence. Then, faintly, a child's whisper layered over a man's growl. He's here. And he's ready to talk. The monitors flicker. For a second, the screen in front of her shows a live camera feed of herself. But her mouth moves out of sync. And she's smiling. The call log on her screen updates automatically. Incoming call 0:03 and 17 seconds AM. Duration 13:24. She blinks at it. But when she checks the wall clock, it's 8 AM. The static in her headset deepens, folds in on itself until it becomes words. Don't hang up, don't hang up, don't hang up. From the far end of the dispatch room, the supervisor watches her lean forward, nodding slightly as though she's listening to someone speak from very far away. The supervisor can't hear the voice, but she sees the change in the young woman's posture, the stillness, the tilt of her head, the too wide smile. The camera in the corner records everything. Later, when the footage is reviewed, the audio will reveal something horrifying. The young dispatcher never says a word during that 13-minute call. And under the hiss of the line, faint but clear, a man's voice says, "This line is now active." Somewhere, far from the dispatch center, in an empty building that smells of ash and damp, a payphone rings. It has no coin slot, no number on the plate. Only one line etched into the metal in uneven letters. 3 minutes and 17 seconds. Call accepted. The receiver lifts itself off the hook. If you made it to the end of this story, we're grateful. Just like Derek, you stayed on the line. You listened, even when the call turned cold. Your support means more than you know. It keeps our lights on. It fuels these stories. And yes, it helps YouTube's algorithm guide lost signals like this one into the hands of other horror fans wandering in the dark. So thank you. For watching. For listening. For not hanging up. Because we're not done transmitting. More stories are coming.
Ready for spine-chilling tales that will haunt your thoughts. Subscribe to Forgotten Storyteller for eerie narrations, unsettling mysteries, and haunting stories you won't forget. Hit the bell icon so you never miss a story, because some stories refuse to stay buried. Join us, if you dare.